Okay, you good? Here I'm talking about are you good? And here I am not even ready. Cool.
All right, I'm good to go whenever you are.
Okay, my friend. Because what, 30 minutes to get all this set up? Because this is the first time that I'm using Zencaster along with Zoom, and I'm hoping to use the audio from Zencaster with the image from Zoom. So that's gonna be kind of fun to see how all this works out.
Hmm.
But thank you so much for joining me, Richard. I really appreciate you. I know you are almost a director.
Yeah, getting there,
That's
getting
the
there.
path you're going on. You're almost a director. I'm about to just say it because it's gonna be true in what, like the next couple of years. Because right now you're a photographer, but you're working your way towards film and directing and so forth. So thank you so much for having me on, everybody. This is Richard, and how do you pronounce your last name?
Colachagua.
Colachagua. Cool, Richard Colachagua. So thank you so much for having us on.
No problem.
I mean, having thanks for coming on my show. Okay, so to get started, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about how you got started and how you got started in photography and what made you want to get into directing.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, that is whereas I guess I'll start from when I was a kid. So, from the Bronx, New York, and growing up, I guess we just had like an infatuation with movies in the house. Like we had a bunch of VHS tapes growing up. Me and my dad, we watch all the movies together. I this very vividly remember, watching Toy Story, Nightmare Before Christmas. We had Pokemon on VHS, and then there was a movie theater like 15 minutes away, walking distance from us. So that would be like I spent a lot of time there as a child, like going to the movies with my dad, going to movies with friends, and then my aunt, she didn't have any kids, so but I have two sisters, so she would
Right.
take us to the movies in New Rochelle. So it's like I spent a lot of time going back and forth between that movie theater and that movie theater, just watching whatever was coming on, because it's like if there was nothing to do that day, nothing planned, it was always, oh, let's just go see what's playing today. So that's where that
Yeah.
interest started. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just like I'm thinking about too. Like that's how it was with my mom and my dad growing up too. Like we would go to the movies as well too. Like I can relate. I'm just like thinking about that too. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. So that never really like stuck with me or like made me. Wasn't really thinking about that until like later on in my life, like maybe like I'd say like maybe 2 years ago, where it's like, okay, this is where like this is the start at. Yeah. So when I got into photography, I always had like a kind of like an interest in high school. Like I finally got on Instagram. I was like, all right, this is mad cool. Like people taking photos and stuff like that. And I was like really getting big into like fashion at the time. So like I would take pictures of my clothes and stuff like that, or I'd try to take cool pictures of my friends wearing their clothes. And then but like the interest just never got past that until it's January 2015. I see. It was a rough point. It was probably like definitely my lowest point. I had no job. I was a college
Mm.
dropout. No relationship anymore. Broke with my girlfriend, and it was just like, what am I gonna do? And my parents and everybody else was kind of like, yeah, bro, what are you gonna do? Because like they looked at me like
Mm.
the golden boy. You know what I mean? Like I'm the only boy.
Right.
I'm the first one going to like college. So it's
Mhm.
just like to come
Mhm.
back and it's like, damn, bro, like I feel like, oh damn, I ruined it for everybody. You know what I mean? But thankfully,
Yeah.
like I still had an interest in photography, so I had some money left at least. So I bought a camera, and that really like helped me pick my life back up because it gave me like a sense of purpose again. Yeah, so it's ironic. I remember I went back a few years ago and I looked at the date I bought the camera, and it was January 6th, and like for some reason, like coincidentally, it's ironic or whatever what you call it, the universe, like that same
Right.
time I
Right.
bought the camera, I was like, okay, I have this camera, I can make a new identity, so I need some new type of name. Like everyone on Instagram, they had like these like aliases to them, like seventh dimensions, Elise Swopes, 13th witness. Like they all had names and like weird things. Okay, so I need to come up with something for myself. So I came up with Sixth Sense. Someone already had it. I think it was like some girl in Europe. So like I messaged
Hmm.
her on Instagram and I kind of explained to her why I wanted her name, and then she was all for it. She changed it and she was like, take it
Oh.
immediately, yeah. And
You reached out to somebody? Like, that's dope.
yeah, and it's funny now because now people reach out to me and they try to buy my Instagram name from me.
Wow. I mean, how much are they offering?
No money, no little money.
Oh, oh, so they try to get it for free. I would be like, yeah, totally. $1 million is yours.
Yeah, like
Somebody else gave me an offer 1.2, so that's discount plan.
yeah, someone tried to offer me like 4 months of their rent money, and I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna take your rent money from you.
Oh no, not the rent money. No, I didn't mean like that. I mean, I'm just like, I mean, I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah, and yeah, so
And
I'm sorry.
you, I'm sorry. You mentioned that you got the Sony A6 300, or what? That's what we talked about off camera, right? Like,
Yeah,
what camera
that's
did you
that.
end up getting?
Yeah. Oh, I got a. Well, first I had like this point and shoot camera that my sister had in our house, or either that or I got it from like a friend of mine. I was like, yo, bro, just let me borrow this. And then I was like, all right, this is not. I realized quickly, like, okay, this is cool, but it's not gonna give me where I want to go. So I had to buy. I bought a Nikon D3200, and then like that was like a real like DSLR digital camera that like photographers actually use. It was a beginner camera, so it was perfect for me. Yeah, and then I eventually outgrew it. I joined the Sony wave, started getting on the Alpha series, and yeah, I'm just shooting on Sony's now.
Cool. I just bought me a Canon, so don't get mad at me because I got something.
Oh no, no, I won't. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't
I'm still
worry.
learning how to use my Canon though, so it's not. I'm using my iPhone and my Mac right now, even though I have my Canon sitting right over there.
hmm
But that's so dope. What university did you go to?
Uh, um, First, I went to SUNY Oswego. That's a college upstate here in
Mm,
New York. Ended up leaving. Like I said, I
mm.
dropped out. Then I took a semester off, kind of just to like get myself back together. And then did 2 years at Bronx Community. Got a graphic design degree there. And then I ended at St. John's University. Got my bachelor's in TV and film with a minor in business. And yeah, here we are. My own company, Six Sense Visuals, and just trying to get off the ground.
Dang. So what is some advice you would give to people who are trying, like, that are interested in, like, are planting the seed in their mind about, maybe starting to get into film or starting to get into directing? Like, what is some advice you would give somebody that's like starting off?
Definitely, the biggest thing is just a start. You got to take the first steps, and then I would say it's real easy to get discouraged very early on, just because you're probably inspired by some of like the best filmmakers, like the
Right, right.
Spielbergs and the Scorseses, the David Finchers. So it's very easy to compare yourself to somebody, or even just people like who are on Instagram who are like real great creators, but they've put in years and years of work, and you're just starting. So you can't let that work be the thing that affects you personally. Like, damn, like my stuff doesn't look as good as theirs. Of course, you're just starting and they've had years of experience. They have whole crews that they're working with and stuff like that. You'll get there because they definitely felt that same way probably about themselves in the beginning. Like, damn, like my stuff doesn't look so good or have that. So I think that's like two of the biggest things right there. Overcoming the fear of just starting, and then don't let yourself fall into comparisons and like imposter syndromes and things like that, thinking, oh, I'm not good enough to do this, when you really are.
Right.
You just have to, he's got to mature into it. That's all it
Okay, so
is.
for somebody that's like a college student, like when I was in school, and I say college student because it's gonna apply to work too. Like if you work in a 9 to 5, like how do you keep yourself from getting overwhelmed and like putting too much on your plate? Like how do you space everything out in such a way that you're still doing what you need to do, whether that's working and putting food on the table, but at the same time putting a little bit
hmm
of work and effort into actually building your own brand, your own company, your own content? Like how were you able to balance the two?
Yeah, I think the most important part is recognizing that like you're at the starting point, so it's okay to make a lot of
Right,
mistakes. You know what I mean? Like you have nothing to lose, so it's okay if you're um making a couple mistakes in the beginning. That's not really going to
right.
bite you. And then those are really easy early lessons that you can learn from. And then I think the second thing is, don't try to put too much on your plate. What I mean? Don't try to tackle the big things at once. Take small gradual steps into what it is you're trying to do,
Mm,
because you want to make sure that you're that you're learning a
Right.
lot, and not trying to like skip over
Because
steps.
them steps go come back at the end of the day. Like every step you take is going to come back, and manifest itself like in a bigger way. So it's like every small step, I guess, to understand that better is like necessary for the entire growth, I guess. Like it's not so small after
Yeah.
all, because it's like you're gonna have to come right back to that same foundation.
Right. Yeah, that's what it is. The foundation. You gotta master the fundamentals first before you try and do anything else. Because your fundamentals are your foundation for what it is that you're doing. So as long as you have the fundamentals in play, and then understand that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Like Nipsey says, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So if you're playing this game, you're playing this game of being in the film industry and directing. It's really a marathon. There are people who I've met who have 25, 30 plus years experience. To get to that level, you got to be okay with wanting to have that to be in it that long. It's not going to be an overnight success here. You know, there can be some people, who get lucky. You have the child prodigies, here and there, but there is still a level of work that needs to get put in to sustain that. You can be talented, but if you don't work hard and you don't have the skill, skill is going to triumph over talent at some point. So it's just about being able to master your skill set, and that takes years on practice for this. I've been doing this for 6 years,
Mm,
and I feel like personally I haven't even scratched the surface yet of what I really want to do, because I'm just still building on my skill set.
dang, that's really deep. I guess that's really inspirational too, because it's like for me starting this podcast, it's been like I've been looking at everybody else like, oh, everybody else's podcast looks good. How can I make this perfect? How can I put it on YouTube and Apple and Instagram and just make it all flow? And it's like I have to learn that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be bad. There's this guy that I follow on YouTube, Roberto Blake, and he was like, you need to make your first 100 crappy videos. He was
Yeah,
like he was like, "And
yeah, you
after
really
you've
do.
made 100 crappy videos, like, just don't even think about it, just make them. And once you make 100,
Yeah.
then you can start, kinda being like, "Okay, what are the results for me doing it better," and so forth. But I guess, like, that's, like, a really high
Hmm.
bar, because what it does is it kinda sets the standard of, like, "Okay, I can mess up." Not even you can mess up as many times as you wanna mess up, but it kinda makes it like, "Okay, I can really mess up as much as I need to mess up, so I can kinda learn from it."
Yep. Yeah, I remember something that one of my film teachers told me in my last semester. He was like, because well, in school they called me Joel, like that was my nickname. He was like, Joel, make sure to make your crappy movies. He's like, make your crappy movies, Joel, because he showed us a film of someone making a crappy
Wow.
movie. Like it was a movie about a guy making a crappy movie. So he was like, yeah, Joe. He was like, you fell asleep a little bit. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, but you understand the point of it, right? He was like, yeah, just if make your crappy
Right.
films. And yeah, so it's okay if what your first stuff is doing is bad.
So, one of the things that Saskia, who's the previous person that I interviewed on the podcast, wanted to ask you
Yeah.
as the interview person after her is, what is most important to you? What is most important to you in your life? It could be a person, it could be a concept, it could be a lesson that you learned. Like, what is that for you? I know you said you like directing, but I'm wondering, is it directing or is it something bigger than directing that directing helps you get to?
Yeah. I think it's. I think it's two things. I think they go well together. I think it's peace and purpose. So like I
Mm,
find peace in what I'm able to do, and what I'm able to do and what I want to do, and then I feel like that's my purpose.
right.
I use that as my medium to express what I want and what I want to get out to the world. And I think it's very important to one, find your purpose and make sure that your purpose is sustaining you peace, because if you're not at peace with yourself, then you're not in balance with yourself. And then I think the purpose thing just comes back from just doing what it is that you actually enjoy doing. Like I tell people like all the time, well, not all the time, but like, when it comes up in conversation, like, oh, like with the topic of like jobs and careers or whatever, I always say, if you're gonna do something, if you're gonna spend 8 hours a day working somewhere, I would hope that you like working there. You better make sure that you like actually like being there, because I've been there before, spending 8 hours at a place that I hated, and yeah, it's not fun at all. And that's just me. There are some people who find great joy in spending 8 hours doing something, and more power to them. It's just all about finding where it is that you fit in, that fits with your peace and purpose.
Well, thank you. I want to know now from your perspective, what's a question that you want to ask the next person that I interview?
Hmm. The question you ask the next person. Hmm. I think it's always interesting to see, like, if you weren't doing what you're doing now, or what you currently were pursuing, what would you, what would be like the second thing? Like, what would be the next thing that you'd probably end up wanting to do? You know what I mean? Like, I guess like what's your next interest that you feel like could replace what it is that you're currently trying to do? Like, say if I wasn't the right thing, what else would I be doing? So I think I would ask that to the next person.
Okay, well, I have a question for you on top of that.
Yeah.
With money or without money? So let's say, for example, like if I wasn't podcasting, I would love to be a singer, right? But I
Hmm.
would love to be a singer only if that, like, if I didn't have to worry about money. So are you talking about like if somebody didn't have to worry about money, or you're talking about just like to pay the bills?
No, I mean just like in general.
Hmm.
Yeah, like if I wasn't like in this field, I'd probably want to like be in tech, honestly.
Oh shoot, come talk to me about that, because I used to work in tech, and I have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
big tech background and all that other good stuff too. I mean, I'm trying to find a way to marry tech and the creative arts together because I think that's really important.
yeah. Hmm.
So maybe this podcast will answer that question. I'm gonna get some more techie people on here as well too, so we'll be able to get that perspective.
There you go.
Okay, well, thank you so much for chatting with me today, Richard. I really appreciate you making time out of your day to like share this insight. Where can we find more of your work, and how can we keep in touch with you?
Yeah, my socials. You can follow me and the company page on Instagram. It's Six Sense, like SIXTHSEN SENSE. Yeah, Six Sense spelled out, no numbers. And then the company page is Six Sense Visuals. You just add visuals at the end of Six Sense, and it comes up like that. And then on Twitter, I'm at Six Sense Viz, Six Sense, and then VIS. Website sixsensevisuals.com, and yeah, that's pretty much it right there. In terms of socials, so big three big things for the year.
Yes.
Starting to work on like more personal stuff for me. Aside from just like doing like client work, I'm working on a 3-part docu series that talks about like the incarceration of Latino people in the American prison system. So I'm going to sit down with 3 candidates, and they're going to basically tell me their stories. I'm going to ask them some questions, and then just build something from that. Second thing is I'm working on like this kind of narrative series, like kind of like interview talk show style, about like I'm half Dominican and Peruvian, so like my culture is very important to me. It's become a real
Hmm.
big thing for me over the past couple of years. So
Hmm.
I want to like sit these people down, kind of like Red Table Talk with Jada Pickett Smith.
Ooh,
Yeah, and kind
yeah.
of just have like 3 people sit down, and then have them have a topic for them to discuss to that they're like in relation to, like I said, Latinos who are LGBTQ. You don't really hear stories about that, and like how like that shapes into society. And then like another thing kind of be like Latinos and mental health. So like getting 3 people in the mental health field to sit down and discuss these things, or like first generation Latinos who are college students. So that, yeah,
Mm.
so like really building on these topics and like making it a discussion. That's going to be something else that I plan on getting off the ground soon. And then the last thing would be probably the biggest thing so far is me and some people I actually met off Clubhouse. I was in the room
Nice.
talking about how I wanted to. You were on Clubhouse, right? That's how we. That's how we.
Yep.
That's how we.
Yes, that's
Yep.
exactly how we met. We met on Clubhouse.
Yep. Yep. Perfect. Yeah, so I
Clubhouse
wasn't.
is dope. I
Yeah,
love
Clubhouse
Clubhouse.
is super dope. Yeah, and you can find me on Clubhouse too at Six Sense.
A
I'm always in there chatting it up somewhere. Um, but yeah, so I kind of like was we were all speaking on ideas and stuff we want to do. I was like, yeah, I want to make like a Latino version of Wild and Out, and everyone thought it was be like a real funny idea. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm always trying to see like what's already out there and seeing like how can I put the spin on this for like for my culture. So
Yes.
I just
Do
literally put
it.
in like I literally just put in the copyright yesterday for the idea like at 2 in the morning, making sure I crossed all my P's and Q's and dotted my I's and stuff like that. And yeah, so we're gonna have a meeting soon coming up about discussing like what it actually looks like actually getting that done.
Yeah. That's going to be super dope. I'm looking forward to that. Like, I'm super excited for that.
Me too.
And that's going to be on YouTube, or where is that going to be at?
We haven't decided that yet. It's gonna be up for it's gonna be up somewhere to watch.
Okay.
We're gonna cross that bridge when we get there when we talk about that. But yeah, for sure. That's gonna be something that we're gonna be working on for the next couple of months. Maybe like because a show takes time to prep. We
True.
gotta make sure like
That's
we're
true.
gonna make mistakes in the beginning, but we don't want to make big mistakes. We want to
Right.
minimize as many mistakes as we can,
Lightweight.
especially since it's gonna be a group of us. We can minimize risks. We can minimize risks across the board. So
True.
yeah, but definitely stick around for that sometime this
I
year.
hope
That's
so.
going to be out there in the open.
I'm probably going to interview you again just so I can like follow up on that and then just see like how you kind of built it and whatnot. What do
Hmm.
you do for your day job? Are you just a director like for the full time for your like not director but like director and like photographer? Like are you working on your creative arts full time or do you have like a day job too?
No, I don't have a day job. This is the only thing I do. I have my clients that help me cover my bills and stuff like that, and then
Yeah.
really just right now trying to work on building out what a team. Trying to get 2 or 3 more people to jump on board with the vision and see where it takes me and see where it takes us.
How do you get clients for your just to like how do you go about getting clients in general? So if somebody's sitting at their desk all day and they're just like, "Oh, I got to have my full-time job," but you're able to have the clients pay your bills while you live in New York, super expensive. How are you able to find your clients?
Right. So, some ways you can do that is, most people come to me based off of referral. So, thankfully,
Mm,
I do a good job with somebody, and they can recommend me to somebody else. If not, you kind of just got to put yourself out there.
right.
Whether it be doing free work for somebody, and I've done free work, and I would still do free work. If it means it leads me to a bigger opportunity.
Mhm.
um you got to cold message people like who you want to work with. um and when you do things like that, you got to come prepared. You can't just say, hey, I want to work with you. You
Right.
kind of got to show what it is you can offer, like what value are you bringing to the table.
Right, right, right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, my friend, thanks for chatting with me and I really appreciate your time. Thank you. This
No,
was
thank you. this
super
is this is
insightful.
great.
Like, I learned a whole lot. I'm really excited to chat with you again, like, to check out the Latino version, Latinx version of Wildin' Out. That would be super dope.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Hope we're gonna try and get that off the board as good as we can.
I know you will. I'm gonna be watching in the back, like, okay. I remember when he was just telling me that he was about to do this, and here we are. It's dope. All right.